It's the Daylight Midnight Show.
Hello and welcome. Let's crack straight on with our fragile or agile indicator for the week. I'm actually going to move this over onto the word agile because I'm feeling pretty good today. I had a good night's sleep. The weather's cooled off a little bit, so I haven't got that horrible clammy feeling I've had. I feel a little bit tired, but that seems to be a permanent thing at the moment. But generally speaking, physically and mentally, I'm feeling quite agile, so let's leave that there. Straight on to our snake of the week then. Now, if you remember, my plan starting last week and moving forward was that this guy was going to be like our template for the snakes from now on. So I was going to follow this design, make it a bit bigger, try and make it more detailed, and try and have a bit of fun with it. And so instead of trying to do a realistic snake, we'd have a slightly cartoony one, and I'd try and get better as the weeks went on and give him more character. We are running out of space on the white wall of wonders behind me, aren't we? I'm going to have a little move around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to overlap these guys so that he can move up there and we'll create some more space. But I don't want to do that now because effectively you'd just be watching me move furniture. So I'm going to pin him down there. You probably won't see him, but before next week I'll have a little bit of a rearrangement. Let me reveal this week's snake of the week then. So following on from that fella last week, I said I'd try and make it bigger. And this is what I ended up with, which I'm really quite pleased with. Now, this has gone a bit funny. I think these bits here are supposed to be the rest of the snake's body, which was quite obvious on the other one. This one I got the dimensions slightly wrong. I did it quite late at night, and when I started adding in these little bits of detail, I thought it looked awful and I'd messed it up. But coming back to it in the cold light of day, I actually quite like it. I think those little bits have added a bit of a character to it. I think he's got a very pleasant face that shows like the personality of the snake that we're getting into here. So I am quite pleased with that. I think that is progress, and I think that hints at some better things to come. So next week I'll do something similar, and I might start adding a little bit of colour or a little bit of detail, or maybe have him slightly in a different movement. Because I think in a way, these extra bits here, I could kind of lose those and he'd still look like quite a pleasant snake. So I might try that next week, start messing around a little bit with the body, but try and get more personality and more colour on the face. So join me next week to find out how our snake of the week is looking. After that, on my little bit of paper here, I've written down World Cup awards. Sorry for no nude stories this week, but I think I've genuinely run out. So if you remember 4 years ago when the World Cup was in Qatar in 2022, and I can't believe I'm still doing this show 4 years later, but I think it was like my favourite emblem from the shirts as a poster for the wall, and I did some other stuff World Cup themed as well, and I realised I hadn't really done anything to do with the World Cup this time around, so I started coming up with my own weird World Cup awards that I was going to do. So this will be very, very quick. I'm just going to give you the ones that I did write down, and then I stopped, and I'll tell you why I stopped. So the first weird World Cup award for this year was the best name of a country participating in the FIFA World Cup when written down as an aesthetically pleasing word. So when you write out the country name, which one looks the best? And these were my top three: Cabo Verde, Switzerland. If you've heard me talk about words before, you'll know I love when there's a sort of difference between the angles and the curves, and Switzerland just looks beautiful. It's got a lovely combination. But my clear winner for this one, and one I've printed out, is Uzbekistan. Does that not, ignoring the fact that it's a country, does that not look wonderful? Written down like that as a pleasing word. So the next award that I went on to was, I noticed that Australia has the name Ali in it, A-L-I, and I thought there must be other countries that have girls' names in. So I looked them up and I came up with the top three. Canada has Ada in it. Uzbekistan, if you go for the modern spelling of the word Becky, you have Becky in there. And then the final one was, sorry to mention this week to any England fans watching, Argentina, because the name Tina is at the end. So I started thinking of some others, but by now England had been knocked out in the semi-finals again. There was that old familiar feeling that you get as an England fan. And I realised I wasn't really that interested in what I was trying to do with it. So I was trying to make it a fun feature, but I just wasn't feeling the flow. I wasn't coming up with anything interesting. And I wondered why that might be. And I thought maybe it's because I'm not that interested in football anymore as much as I used to. I've noticed that this World Cup, for various reasons I won't go into, I haven't had so much interest in. I think I've watched 4 games in total out of the 100 or so that there's been. England have played 7 times. I've watched 2 games that England have played in. And I wouldn't have missed it. I'd have been really into this stuff. And I thought, well, I've fallen out of love with football. That's what's happened. You know, I went for it a lot when I was younger, but as the years have gone by, I've got used to the disappointment. I don't like the way it's gone financially and politically, and so I just don't like it anymore. So maybe it's time to find a new sport for me to get interested in as a spectator. So I thought we'd do a little online quiz to find out which sport I would be best suited to. And do you know what? This was harder to do than you could possibly imagine. I found a lot of these quizzes where it was what sport should I be playing. I did find a couple that were to do with what is best suited to your personality, but they had to find out what your personality was to start with. So there were these deep questions that were not fun to do on camera, and there were like 20, 24 of them in each survey. And I thought that's just going to be a boring 45-minute video for you to watch. So I've ended up on a website called highlightskids.com, who do a lot of jokes and quizzes for children, I think primary school and middle school age. And they've got one called What Sport Are You? What sport is calling your name? Take this quiz and find out. And there's only 6 or 7 questions, so I thought I'd just do this quickly, and then whatever it comes up with, that's the sport that I'm going to try and follow as the weeks go on. So question 1 of 7. When you need to study for a test, you either can't focus unless you study by yourself, organise a group study session, take turns quizzing a friend, or sit with friends but do your own thing. Long time since I studied for a test. It was online and I was on my own, so I guess I had to study by myself, so I'll put that. Question number 2. At school you love, this is going to be a test of memory, debating any issue, going to recess, I think this might be an American website, your favourite subject, or reading time. I always loved reading in spare moments at school. I love reading now, so I'll go with that. Your favourite competition would be one that is one-on-one, class against class, a small group victory, or a trivia contest. I do love quizzes and trivia contests, hence this, so I'm going to go for that. Okay, your neighbour made $25 with a lemonade stand. Do you open your own stand and hope to make $35? Ask if you can help out and split the money? Open a cookie stand and share customers? Or say, hey, that's great, then do something else? I'm going to go for the last one because I'm not business or money oriented, and I wouldn't make the effort of doing my own thing. I would just say, good for you, you've made some money, and go off and pick up a guitar or something. When you play a video game with a friend, doesn't really happen, do you do a victory dance, give your friend some tips, high five your friend, or get a personal best? I mean, if I'm playing games with people, it's normally we're working together, so I suppose high five, but I am known for my little victory jigs in different sports, so I'll go with that one. When you're trying to solve a puzzle, you won't stop until you've figured it out. Ask your family to help, it's more fun with a team. Bring it to school and pass it around, or enjoy working on it by yourself. I don't know what kind of puzzle that is. Is that like a mental puzzle? Is it a jigsaw? I do jigsaws with my family. I'm going to say working on it by myself, because then when you've got any spare moment in the day, you can drop onto it for 10 minutes and not have to worry about someone else being around. And finally, your favourite part about playing a game is winning, having fun with others, cheering others on, seeing how well you do. Never really cared about winning. Cheering others on is nice, and this is about me being a spectator. But I think having fun with others is the big part of it for me. When I used to play five-a-side football or basketball, when I've been a supporter, it's about the other people around you, so I'll go with that one. And our result is that I am baseball. Baseball and softball are team sports, but every member gets a chance to shine. That means there will be plenty of times to cheer on your teammates, and they'll support you when it's your turn to be the star. When a friend does great, you're proud of that friend, and your friends are proud of you too. So after all that, the sport that I should be following is baseball, which I don't think is on British television. I'm not sure there's a league in Britain, and at any time I've watched it on telly, I found it quite boring. But I might give it a go, because that's what this little survey has dictated. So after all that, now we know what the sport I'm going to watch instead of football is. Let's get round to our taste test of the week then. So this is when I pull down the camera so you can see what I'm about to do. If you remember, in the colander of Culinary Chance last week, the 3 ingredients were bread, a Crunchie, and a banana. I'm not looking forward to this one because not only do I not like bananas, they tend to have quite a nasty effect on my stomach. But that's why I put it in for the fun and games. Do I just chuck the whole thing in a sandwich? No, let's make a bit of an effort. So I'm going to slice this up. Oh, and I'm going to cut the crusts off this time, because I think the crusts do get in the way of the beautiful culinary experience that I'm trying to have. So if we do that like that, and then if I very carefully with the knife, I promise you I've done a risk assessment, Let's cut the crust off there, and let's cut the crust off that way. I don't know, sandwiches do taste better when you cut the crusts off. I don't know if that's something to do with a reminiscent thing of being a child, or whether there's something in the crusts that affects the flavour. But anyway, there's that. Now, what do I do with this? Do I try and cut this up as well? I mean, I can't imagine cutting a Crunchie up. Oh, no, that's just... This Crunchie has become a crumbly. I mean, it doesn't matter, does it, how it goes in, as long as it goes in. So, oh my goodness me. So I'm guessing, well, I suppose this will work, won't it? So if I just pile all that in there, I'm hoping you all agree that that counts as being a Crunchie and a banana in a piece of bread. So I'm going to fold that over as best I can to make it like a bit of a sandwich. Let's put the camera slightly up so you can see my expression when I do this. Here we go then. This week's taste test is Crunchie and banana and bread. Bon appetit! Okay, instantly the flavour of banana is overwhelming everything. It's a long time since I've eaten banana. I'm finding it quite unpleasant. Again, the mixture of textures is just not pleasant. The real squishiness of the banana with the real crunchiness of the Crunchie and then the softness of the bread. It's not a pleasant experience. So, smell, the smell of banana is overpowering. Taste, the taste of banana is overpowering. It looks nice and pretty, but actually the feel of it in your mouth is not great, so I'm afraid that's going to be another no. We haven't really found a big winner yet, have we? So let's find out what I'm going to be trying next week then. 32 different ingredients on individual bits of paper. We put them in the colander of culinary chance. We shuffle them up to randomise it as much as possible. I pulled 3 out. They are the 3 things that I will try together next week. So number 1 is toothpaste. Ingredient number 2 next week, my mouth has done that thing where it goes really, really dry again, is Marmite. Okay, I'm assuming the toothpaste should be a minty one, so it's a really strong flavour. So toothpaste and Marmite, it's a very liquid thing, with cheese and onion crisps. So that's what we'll be trying next week. All new ingredients, we haven't had any of these 3 come out. So cheese and onion crisps, toothpaste and Marmite, that's what I'll be trying in our taste text next week. Join me for that. Oh, and I did say I was going to name the food. Everything we tried, I would give a proper name. So this Crunchie banana sandwich, bearing in mind what it's like, I'm going to call it Banana. I'll see you next week. Have a great 7 days.